This is the story of a golf club created in a South Florida cow pasture a half a century ago by one of golf's foremost architects and a select group of members. Pine Tree Golf Club is a traditional private club established in 1961. The founding members purchased a large tract of dairy land and engaged the prominent course architect Dick Wilson to design the course. Pine Tree is considered one of Dick Wilson's finest courses and has been ranked in the nation's top 100 and Florida's top 5. Ben Hogan called Pine Tree the greatest flat course in America. Many a tour pro has called Pine Tree home, from LPGA, PGA, and World Golf Hall of Fame members like Sam Snead, Tommy Armour, Mickey Wright, Louise Suggs, Joanne Carner, Beth Daniel, Meg Mallon, to most recently the 2019 U.S. Open champion, Gary Woodland, combined for 50 major championship victories. Usually the first hole of a course is a warm handshake. Interesting, but not difficult. Pine Tree's first, virtually unchanged since 1961, is difficult. The opening drive is into a fairway that both narrows and is guarded by a quintet of bunkers. The approach shot is equally daunting. 4 more bunkers surround the green, which slopes away to the left and is elevated, turning any missed approach into a problem. The second isn't an overly long par 3 by any means, but the proper club selection and distance control is key. The green is, however, heavily bunkered with 5 sandpits awaiting an errant shot. The handicap chart puts the third hole in the middle of the pack, but a narrow landing area makes this par 4 a real challenge. A small bunker on the left side of the fairway helps players stay in bounds, but also aims them towards a pair of bunkers on the right side that can play havoc. The approach is to a well-bunkered green with a rather steep drop-off behind it. Take a 4 and go quietly to the next tee. The fourth hole plays tougher than its length implies, largely because of the 8 bunkers. 5 in the landing area, 3 more at the green. The putting surface is angled from right to back left, favoring a draw for a right-handed player. Overdo it, and 3 bunkers await. Hit a fade, and you're chipping up to the green. The fifth hole is a par 5, so feel free to fire away, as there's no bunkers in your landing area. However, your second shot must be played with great skill, or one of these 5 bunkers will gobble up your shot. A well-played second shot will be rewarded with a short iron to the green. The green itself is protected by 3 bunkers, with just enough room to run up your shot. The water on the par 3 6 is merely decorative. The problem here is the elevated kidney-shaped green and the quartet of bunkers guarding it. The runway tee covers more than half the length of the hole and features 7 tee markers to play from, challenging players of all skill levels. Regardless of the tee markers, this hole demands a precise shot to a green which plays much smaller than its actual size, sloping off on all sides. This All-American hole is a temptress. A few yards can be saved by playing down the right side of the fairway, but the lake looms. The wise player aims at the 2 bunkers on the left of the fairway, then tries to hammer his second close to the green. But once again, don't leak to the right, or you're wet. A big drive, avoiding the quintet of bunkers on the left, can set up a short iron to a well-bunkered green. The eighth plays into a prevailing southeast wind, which can complicate matters, for calm days at Pine Tree are rare. Longtime member Sam Snead was known to aim at the pine tree on the left side and play a gentle fade, riding the prevailing wind back into the fairway, leaving a short iron to the green. As always, the green is anything but flat and can be one of the most difficult to read on this entire course. Clearing the big bunker in the middle of the fairway is a must for anyone chasing par, much less a birdie. For the prudent, the second shot should be placed short of these three bunkers, leaving a reasonably easy pitch. For the bold, the green is guarded by four bunkers plus a pond that circles behind the green and is there to accept any shot sailing to the right or more than a club long. A hole revised and then changed back, today players have a choice of tees and trebles. Play from the right, and there's a straightforward tee shot that must avoid a pair of bunkers on the left. Play from the left, and there's more distance. Duffers will worry about the water. At the end of the hole, three bunkers around the sloping green force players to be perfect or lay up. By now, it's clear there are no soft holes at Pine Tree. The 11th is a daunting par 3, in part because of its length, and in part because of the sloping green, which falls off front left. The middle of the green is an oasis. The big change on this since 1962? No more cows on the perimeter. Many consider this Pine Tree's signature hole, because most of the time it features the pine tree, the symbol of the club. The only bunker-free fairway on the course features a pond that springs from a canal crossing the fairway. A bulge in the pond comes within a few yards of the green, which is also guarded by four adjacent bunkers. This classic par 3 is the shortest on the course, but length means nothing here. A massive bunker with 6 islands of green within is the first thing seen at the tee. The narrow green swings away to the right, forcing a precision shot, and plays into the prevailing southeast wind. Dick Wilson's take on the classic Cape hole, one where the player bites off as much as he's comfortable with, begins the last 6 holes. Once the tee shot is in the fairway, rather than the pond to the left or the 3 bunkers on the right, the approach is the problem. Miss the 4 bunkers guarding the green, and there's a chance for par. Once the tee shot is in the fairway, rather than the pond to the left or the 3 bunkers on the right, the approach is the problem. The shortest par 4, on the inward 9, features the most creative greenside bunkering on the course. 5 bunkers, 3 in front and 2 behind, make the approach shot a gamble, especially if the prevailing southeast wind is in play. The green itself is a subtle challenge. At just over a third of a mile from the back tee plate, measuring 666 yards, the 16th hole is a marathon. A Piper Cub one time made an emergency landing on the tee. Longtime member Sam Snead was known to bet members that they could not hit a 7-iron from one end of the tee to the other. The drive is to a relatively narrow landing area guarded by the 3 bunkers. The second shot is to an open landing area. but 6 bunkers guard the green. As on the 13th, the green slants away to the back right and offers seemingly unlimited hole locations that are both challenging and fair. Snead's favorite hole, and possibly the most picturesque places on the entire course. The penultimate hole opens with a relatively docile shot. Only one bunker to the left guards the landing area. The creek to the right, only in play for spray hitters. The approach is to an elevated green with 3 bunkers standing in the way. The putting surface emulates a potato chip, rolling off to the left and the front and the right, with a big drop-off behind the green. All of Dick Wilson's favorite characteristics for a challenge are present on Pine Tree's finishing hole. The tee shot must avoid a cluster of bunkers. That mission accomplished, the second shot must carry the last of the water hazards and avoid a deep greenside bunker. That makes any cup placement on the right side a difficult problem. There's a bailout area to the front and left of the green, but after the first 17 holes, who's in any kind of mood to bail out? Pine Tree is a tribute to Dick Wilson's ability and years of experience in building championship golf courses. All who have played Pine Tree, from tour pros to high handicappers, unanimously praise this as the very finest. This is the Pine Tree story.